Welcome to the Athlete Insights Podcast, hosted by Yash Day, a podcast focused on letting athletes tell their journeys in their sport. This podcast is presented by Boxed Water. Boxed water is better.
Welcome into another episode of the Athlete Insights Podcast. Today I've got former Broomfield High School running back and now Dodge City CC running back Caleb Meehan with me. So Caleb, appreciate you. I know it's a Saturday, it's a weekend. You want to be enjoying your weekend, so I appreciate you taking the time on your weekend to chat with me, man. Appreciate you.
No, of course. Thank you for having me.
No, so I'm always, I always like to start from the beginning of where you started to now. We'll kind of get to where you are today. But what's your earliest memory with sport, man? When did you really, get into sport?
I would say my second grade year. We moved from Louisville down to Arvada, and my first team, I played with them through second to eighth grade.
Mm-hmm.
It was my dad's team. We were called the Arvada Grizzlies, and most of my teammates went to Arvada West or RV.
Gotcha.
So I think the earliest memory I got was my first practice as a second grader.
Okay. So it was always football? Did you play any other sports as a young?
I played baseball all the way from sophomore year, so from second to sophomore year.
Got you. What position? In outfield, infield?
Outfield. I was center field.
Center field. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
So, you have a little bit of baseball background, but
baseball.
You really. When did you really hone in on football? What age did you really? Were you like, football is where I really feel like I'm gonna excel, and that after that sophomore year where you kind of transitioned more towards that, or was it an earlier point?
Yeah. It was at an earlier point. I noticed the difference in the love for the sports. Seventh grade year is really when I noticed it.
Mm-hmm.
But sophomore year is when I fully took into effect. That's when I started training around the clock for football. Doing sports like track to better my football ability.
Gotcha.
So I had to sacrifice baseball for that.
Okay. I got you. And so, you're playing. You're coming into Dodge City as a running back. Was there any other positions when you were younger? Was running back kind of where you wanted to be, where you saw your fit? Did you play? I know I talked to your teammate CT. I had him on.
Yeah.
He mentioned he was playing. He played offensive line for a bit, and when he was younger, that nature before he got to quarterback. Was there a similar story from your end, or did you always start at running back, or were you always at running back, and kind of how did that pan out?
Yeah, so the offensive side, I've always been that running back type. But defense, no. I remember playing safety for a couple of years, and then I switched down to a outside backer.
Got you.
So not like the transition CT had, but still a different position.
Different position, for sure. So you kind of, just like him, you kind of have experience on both sides of the ball in those situations. But you talk about, I know you mentioned your dad. Is it safe to assume that one of your biggest mentors growing up, especially in football, was your dad?
100%.
Any other mentors that you had growing up as a youth football player?
Actually, him. Yeah, him, my grandfather for sure.
Gotcha.
And one of my youth coaches along the way, Josh Bliss and Jerry Sumby, very good coaches of mine. They taught me the way of football, so very close in my heart with those guys. But those are my mentors throughout my youth days.
Got you. And is there any core? I always ask the athletes that I interview, in your youth career, we'll talk about your high school and kind of what your future goals are at Dodge City. But before we head into that, is there any one core memory that stands out from your youth career, whether it's baseball or football related? Either one. Is there any one memory that really stands out to you out of the others?
Yeah, it was my 7th grade year. We won the Carnation Bowl. We were like, I think the 16th seed going in. No one expected us, and we went on a crazy run. So that was an awesome run to be a part of.
Yeah.
And we won the Carnation Bowl in like -2 weather by 1 touchdown. It was 7-0. So it
Yeah,
was a fun game.
got you. So that's
Yeah.
yeah, so that's something that you would say stands out above all kind of in your youth
hmm
career. Okay. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
And that's the great thing with sport, right? Especially team sport like football. You're able to come together and really share that memory or be a part of that memory with others in that regard. And so that's great to kind of see that process that's played out for you through football and even baseball when you played. So
Yeah.
but let's kind of transition now to your high school career. Can you talk me
Okay.
through just kind of give me a brief idea or concept of your high school career? What did you learn now that you're as you go into Dodge City next year? What's one takeaway that you've taken like that you or that what's one lesson I guess you can take away from your high school career that you can apply as you head to Dodge City?
Yeah. So I started off at A West my online year. That was a COVID year.
Got you.
Didn't really think it was a fit. I think it was just we had to get in a school moment decision. Um, and then so sophomore year I went to RV, and it was all right. Like don't get me wrong, it wasn't bad, but um, my like teenage year high school mentor Oren, he's a like close family member, and our DB coach at Broomfield.
Mm,
He mentioned to me one day about Broomfield, and I've never heard of Broomfield before this. So I
mm,
was like, okay, I guess I don't know. That's a big change though, because I'm still like I just got used to RV.
yeah,
But so this thought didn't go away for like he gave me 2 months to think about it,
got you.
and it didn't go away. I had this gut feeling like I feel like this team that there's. So I went to go like really good. So I went to go watch them work out, and this is Cola Cruz senior year,
Okay.
and I was like, okay, yeah. So I liked what I saw.
Yeah.
So I made the decision. I transferred again, which was kind of crazy. Kind of like it was a news flash to everyone,
Uh-huh.
but I knew deep down it was the right decision. I just had to prove it. So I get to Broomfield, and everything's going great. Sevens was awesome. I mean
Mm,
that 2022-2023 team was amazing.
yeah.
But I had a little minor setback as soon as I got to Broomfield. We were at team camp in CSU Pueblo,
Got
and
you.
I hurdled this guy, and I didn't know there was a defensive lineman on my back
Mm,
mid hurdle. So I
got you.
hurdled, and I snapped both arms of my forearm. So
Oh,
I was out. Yeah, so I was out for 14 weeks. So I
wow.
think I missed 6 games. I came back week 6.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
That's wild. Like, so you said there's a
yeah,
defensive lineman on your back as you were hurdling somebody?
yeah. So we were running our like outside zone play,
Okay. Yeah.
and I
Okay.
broke it. Yeah,
I
yeah,
see what you're saying. Okay. I get it now. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's wild, man. That's,
yeah. It was, and it was my first play at Broomfield on the offensive side. So I was
gotcha.
like, oh my gosh.
Dang.
Yeah.
No, that had to be nerve-wracking. And then for that to happen is kind of that's wild. On top of
No,
that.
yeah.
But what's one, and I want to talk about your recruiting process and things of that nature, but
Uh.
what's one lesson that you've taken away from your high school career? I know you've transferred a couple times, as you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
But what's one
Yeah.
lesson you can take away from your high school career that you can apply as you go to Dodge City next year?
Um. I guess it's kind of two. One, school does is very important. It's very like you have to do it to go
Mhm.
far in this league.
Yeah.
Well, not league, but business.
Yeah.
And two, to not take it for granted. Like high school, as soon as I got to Broomfield, felt like it was maybe a year to combine junior and senior year. So not to take it for granted. Enjoy the process.
Yeah.
It may suck right now, but those are going to be lifetime memories with those people.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah.
Let's and talk to me about your recruiting as well, in terms of like, when, because I know like we've been talking about, you did transfer from A West starting out to RV to Broomfield. How did that recruiting process work for you? And how did you end up with Dodge City?
Okay. Yeah. So, really, I wasn't getting really any looks till my junior year. Junior year, I came back and I didn't even play running back junior year. I came and played walked up, we call it a nickel back, but it was on the D line. So like an edge player.
Got you.
So, and that was a little finding, like we found my position for the next 2 years out of that, which was crazy. I never thought I'd be there. But so yeah, I wasn't getting recruited at all, really, freshman, sophomore year. But junior year started picking up. But since I didn't really have that much offensive film, or really that much film in general, it was slow junior year. So I went into senior year with no offers. And I remember the day Coach O'Brien said at a summer workout, he was like, he used me as an example, which even it motivated me even more. He was like, he pointed to me in the locker room after our workout. He's like, Meehan, stand up. And he's like, do you have any offers right now? I was like, no, sir. And then he just gave this lecture about showing up every day, consistency. So that really pushed me to impress him and my teammates even more and push them further.
Gotcha.
So senior year, the look started going up. I had a bunch of FCS D1s last year.
Got you.
And then my recruiting coordinator, Warren McCarthy, we had a tough discussion, basically saying I'm not going to be able to go that route because of my GPA.
Okay.
And that freshman year GPA that is tanking my accumulative. So we had to go the JUCO route, which is no joke. I think we have maybe 20 plus Division I bounce backs on that team in Dodge.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's I love Dodge so far. I'm excited to get to work for the next 2 to 3 years there. It's going to be exciting. I don't know if I'm a redshirt this year or not. But if I do, it's going to be a big off season for me. So I'm excited.
For sure. And you talked about Coach O'Brien kind of motivating you to work hard, go through that process. What has Coach O'Brien, who came in, with you, I believe, what has Coach O'Brien meant to you, and kind of what kind of impact has he had on your career in high school and specifically at Broomfield?
Yeah, so he really brought this like feeling of a true family in the locker room and even in the classroom, because last year the team, we were like together. I mean, he was great. Like after losing our old head coach Hubbard, and we were without a head coach for almost 4 months. We didn't know if the old staff was leaving or not. And then Coach O'Brien did a great job coming in and just leading as best as he could have, because that's a tough situation. Trying to rally the troops again, especially when you have a heavy senior class going in. Yeah, so it was he did a fantastic job. I love Coach O'Brien, and I watch out for Broomfield this year. I mean, they're going to be good in 4A.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I know Broomfield's got a really good chance a shot at the state title. So I'll definitely be watching them. I'll be watching Dodge City now, knowing that you're there, Caleb. So
yes, sir.
It'll be good. And my now in this day and age, when I graduated, Caleb, we didn't have NIL, we didn't have transfer portal, we didn't have any of this stuff. So now as you enter Dodge City, as you go into college, have you thought about NIL? Have you thought about reaching out to brands, reaching out to businesses? Kind of what's your process been with that?
Oh yeah, 100%. In Dodge, I think I'm a partner with a local restaurant. They support the team a lot, so
Got you.
I think I'm gonna partner with them. But future wise, no. When I take that next step to the next level, I don't really know what that's like. But I've had my cousin walk me through that step.
Got
Blake
you.
Barnett, he played at Erie,
Yep.
and that was my favorite. Those are some favorite of my games. But yeah, he's at K State right now, and he's kind of like shown me like how to walk the path, and
Yeah.
He's kind of helping me with recruiting.
Got you. And what's great is
Yeah,
to hear you say is you're going to partner, with local businesses, with local, and I think that's the beauty of NIL, right? Is athletes can
yeah,
shine a light on some local businesses, local
mm-hmm,
businesses, with the platform that they have. So it's great to kind of see how what your thought process is
yeah.
with that. And when as you head before we end the episode here, I want to talk about your goals. Is what kind of goals do you have individually seeking at Dodge your first year there?
First year there, I would like if I'm redshirted, I would like to make give this team 100% I got. If that's on scout team, if that's on anything they got. But over long time goal at Dodge, I'd like to get a natty there.
Mhm.
Um, I'd like to I'd like to rush over 1,500 yards there just to solidify that I can hang with these great athletes.
Yep.
And and of course the longevity goal is to get out of Dodge. Of course,
Mhm.
get back to the D1s I was talking to,
Yep.
maybe even bigger. It just depends.
Gotcha. And
Yeah,
before we and those are great short term, and I love how you think short term and then long term goals to have in terms of and if you do, I hope you do end up rushing 1,500 yards, but and really, like you said, solidifying your place in Dodge and solidifying your place among that you like you said you can run with the best of the best, and you are Division I capable in that realm. So that's great to kind of hear kind of how your goals are aligned with your vision and everything like that. But before we end the podcast. Always give my athletes a chance to kind of give back, give advice to young players, youth athletes. So, Caleb, I want to give you that chance too. Is what's one piece of advice or one skill set you would tell young guys that want to be whether they're in elementary school or middle school that look up to you, want to be want to have those D1 offers, want to be in in the positions that you are. What's one piece of advice that you'd give them, or one skill set that you think they should focus on?
yeah, man. One I would say, and this is just a basic rule, and you hear every coach say about it, but
Mhm.
don't take this time for granted. You're about to go into some of the funnest years of your life. You're about to play for a whole town that's behind you.
Yeah.
So you're really going to enjoy that. But on the flip side of this, you have to get to work. It has to be school then football. It's really got to be that. There's no distractions, which is hard because we're growing adults,
Mhm.
which is you have so many more distractions coming in. But really, the name of the game is consistency.
Yeah.
Um, Coach Hubbard and Coach O'Brien preach that to every athlete at Broomfield. That's what everyone in my family preaches. So I believe that to the core. But yeah, just consistency, stay with it. No matter how hard it gets, you just got to get up and keep on going.
Gotcha. Yeah, and that's key not only in football but in life as well in general. Is if you're
Yeah.
consistent, you're gonna reach your goals, you're gonna get to where you want to be. So appreciate you saying that and providing your expertise, your insights, and your advice and consistency. Like we've been saying, consistency is key. No matter what you do, and no matter where you are. in your life. So appreciate you kind of impressing that. But that's all the time
Oh,
we
of
have
course.
for this episode of the Athlete Insights podcast. Again, I want to thank Caleb Meehan for coming on and spending part of a Saturday morning with me and chilling with me on here. So appreciate you doing that. I'll have Caleb's social media. I'll have your social media on the video. I'll have your social media in the description on the YouTube. So you can follow Caleb, excuse me, on his journey at Dodge, and wherever he goes beyond that. You guys can follow him on social media to follow his journey. You can follow my podcast on YouTube, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, basically anywhere you see a podcast, you'll see mine up there. But Caleb, appreciate you taking the time again today. And best of luck to you. I'll be watching Dodge. I'll be watching Broomfield next year. And best of luck to you as you begin your journey in the collegiate
Thank
space.
you, man. It was a privilege to be on here. Thank you.
Appreciate you for saying that. But we'll see you next time.